Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Dark Avenger comic book review. We are on episode 398.
Yep.
That's insane. And we have 28 books this week. We got a lot to talk about, but we are late. For those of you that remember, last week we mentioned we were going to do this as a video as opposed to a live show. We were going to record this originally on Tuesday. We got to Wednesday, and we still hadn't recorded because, you know, whenever we plan something, something always goes wrong. So we got to Wednesday, and we didn't do it. Tuesday, Media Madness was yesterday, and that's why we didn't go live yesterday. And Media Madness was also awesome. Go check it out. They did Pretty Little Liars, and that was an awesome Media Madness for sure. So if you're a fan of Media Madness, definitely check it out. And so we figured, why not? Let's do it live because we're used to it. That's how the show has been for 20 episodes-ish now, give or take. So why not? I mean, we're used to doing it live, so do it live. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little FYI or a little thing here. We did start recording this episode already. We got through a lot of the books. We already tried this live, and what happened was something happened to our audio. It froze out, so that video didn't make it. We're restarting from the beginning. So anyone who's joining us live, I apologize if you're going to be like, we've covered some of these books already. We know that. I kind of left the message in the comments about it. And also for those of you that are with us, that are commenting, we'd like to keep the topic on hand of the books. I'm going to talk more about, I know that we still have 2 more episodes to go before we hit 400. But at the end of this episode, I definitely will be talking about what's going to be happening from now until 400. We're actually, the books that were released yesterday are the books for episode 399. We're actually recording this review a day. We're doing this live show a day after those books came out, so we want to do this. We're going to be doing the books pretty quickly. We're going to try a different format this time. Instead of doing it as in-depth as we normally do, we're going to try a different format. And this could or could not pertain to events that will be happening in the announcement video. Again, I tell you guys, stick around till the end, and we'll talk a little bit about it. But there are two episodes left.
Yeah.
Until 300.
Did you notice the eye and
that's how big your eye is going to be when I punch you.
But
get it out of here!
But it's
out!
The eye.
Out!
I see you.
So, anyway,
the books that we will be reviewing that were released in this episode are the books that came out on June 21st, 2017.
Right. So, like I was saying, stick around to the end. We will talk about stuff that's going to be going on. One thing I will say really, well, you know what? We'll save it all for the end. We have a second chance at the intro, so let's save it. There will be announcements about 400, what's going to be going on after 399, etc. Stick around. One thing I will say is, I'm going to say it at the beginning and at the end, one thing you guys definitely want to do is, if you're not subscribed to Dark Avenger C86, definitely, I hope you guys will take the opportunity or take this, if you enjoy the reviews especially, I hope you guys will take the opportunity to just go over to my channel and click the sub button. There is something connected to Dark Avenger C86 that will be going on, and it will be part of the announcement. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do if you enjoy this review, because there definitely is something that's going to be going on with my channel. And if you're not subscribed already, you might kind of be, well, you'll see it in the announcement video, but this is a little heads up. I guess most of you, I'm guessing, are already subscribed to Dark Avenger C86, so I'm not worried. But for those of you that are new, definitely check out Dark Avenger C86. If you're watching this on my channel, which this video will be going up on Wednesday on my channel, which is 2 days after we do 399 on Monday, so this will be going out on Wednesday the following week. So it's going to be going up in 6 days on my channel. We've caught up. We are officially caught up on my channel. 400. The week we do 400, well, I'm going into the 400. I'm doing it again. So, well, this will be up on Wednesday. 399 will be on Monday on Frontline. This is going up Wednesday on my channel, which is the first Wednesday of, actually, I think it's the 4th of July.
Yeah.
It is
well, the 4th of July is on a Tuesday.
Oh, it's Tuesday, so it's the 5th of July that this will be going up on my channel. So, again, for those of you that are checking this out on my channel, stay tuned. A lot of stuff is going to be happening. If you're watching this, actually, on Wednesday on my channel, in a couple of days on Frontline, the announcement video will be coming up, and there will be certain videos possibly on Dark Avenger C86 celebrating 400, so stick around for that as well, which is, again, why I tell you guys, definitely, if you're not subscribed to Dark Avenger C86, please do subscribe to Dark Avenger C86, because content is going to start rolling out of Dark Avenger C86. Right now, I'm very focused on doing 400. Once we hit 400, I feel like things will fall back into a norm, and I actually will be doing a Dark Avenger podcast before and after 400. Before 400, talking about a couple of things going on in life, and after, kind of backing up all the stuff I'm going to be talking about on the announcement video, which will be on Frontline. I will be posting the announcement video on Frontline. The Dark Avenger podcast is going to be that announcement on my channel, plus a little bit more in-depth about what the announcements are. Wasted enough time. Let's get through the books that we've already talked about and beyond that. Now, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Season 11, Issue number 8. This book has gotten very, very political for me, at least. I really, Buffy and Willow have lost their powers, and this issue is about them coping with the fact that they don't have their powers anymore and still doing what they do without their powers. Faith actually shows up in the book, which is really cool. That Faith makes a guest appearance. We find out that the government is still watching Buffy and the others to make sure they don't try to get their powers back somehow. And I don't know. This book just feels way too political for me. So for now, I am still going to be reading Buffy. I don't want you guys to think I hate Buffy. I really do. I've been loving Buffy. I love when we had that contest for Frontline where we did for Dark Horse, where we talked about Buffy and Angel back to back like we were doing. It's just this season of Buffy is just not my type of season. It's very, very political. I'm not a very political kind of guy. So this is kind of one of those seasons that, you take it or leave it. This would be one of those seasons where I'll casually read it to catch up, to keep up to date with Buffy. But I probably won't be discussing Buffy anymore until a crossover with Angel possibly happens, or we get to the next season, or this part of the season is done and we get into something else. I just feel it's way too political. We live in a very political world right now. Believe me, we have people all over the place laughing about politics, about the stupid stuff going on in politics in one place, and then you got a lot of crazy stuff going on. I don't want political. This is why I don't read political comics, because it just doesn't. I'm not a political person. It doesn't work good. It doesn't work good for me. It doesn't work. So Buffy for now will not be probably in any reviews anytime soon. I will, like I said, still be reading it. I love the artwork in the book. I love the universe of Buffy, but I can't really grasp this season. It's not my type of season. It might be a season for you. It might be a season for somebody else. This might be a jumping on season for some people. Maybe some people started reading Buffy in this season. I'm not saying it's a bad season. It's not my type of season. It's not my type of topic or my type of story for Buffy. So when this is all done, we'll see if I'll come back. But however, Angel Season 11, Issue number 6 is something I am into. Angel Season 11, Issue 6, we've got Angel fighting himself. He's on the boat. Him and Fred are traveling through time to figure out what that mystical bug does. It affects somehow the present, and now Angel's traveling through time into his past to kind of find, get where he found that bug and stop it from ruining the present, so to speak. And we get to see Angel fighting his evil, dark, soulless self, Angelus, in this book a bit. And of course, Angelus doesn't believe that it's him. We see the bug, and Alien where you got the chest bursters. Yeah. This bug kind of causes brain bursters.
Oh, wow.
Very interesting, but at the same time, very disgusting. The pirates attack, like you mentioned in the last issue. And what happens is they get rid of Angelus. Fred's, whatever I keep forgetting what she's possessed by. For some reason, the name of that being left me. But anyway, it takes Angelus and Drusilla and throws them out into the middle of the ocean, which is good because they're safe now. But it's bad because now the sun's coming up in a couple hours, and Angel's past self is about to die, which will kill his present self.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Very interesting book. I am enjoying Angel. I will be continuing reviewing Angel. And like I said, if there's a crossover with Buffy, I'll absolutely still talk about Buffy, and we'll talk about the crossover. So now we're going into Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, issue 16. This was the end to the first arc. The arc, I felt like, played in 3 acts. We had the first act where Tommy was, introduced to the Rangers, where he joined the team officially. This takes place right after Green with Evil, or Evil with, I forget.
Green with Evil.
It is Green with Evil. And it was all about Tommy joining the team and how it wasn't such a smooth beginning for Tommy with the Rangers. Then we had Draken and his attack on the Rangers and the destruction of Zordon, and Tommy and Billy disappearing into the time stream or going to Draken's world. And now we have this act, which is the final act, where they're in Draken's world. Like we predicted, Billy's coin was not used, was not given over to Draken. Trinity basically used it in order to steal Draken's Morphin grid powers along with a couple of his army men. And it triggers the Rangers, who are fighting Rita and the Goldar army, which they defeat them as well. And the Rangers find Billy and Tommy. They have this epic fight. Draken versus Tommy happens, which I really love that. And in the end, good always wins when it comes to the Power Rangers. So they get to go home. All of them get to go home. They find out that there's a way to bring Zordon back. Read the book to find out how they get Zordon or will get Zordon back. I'm not going to spoil that. But I think this was a perfect end to the first arc. You know, when it came to the TV series, it was always, you know, Tommy joined the team, no fuss, no muss, no problems. The next episode, Tommy was just the sixth member of the team. This showed the road to him becoming the sixth member. Like, in real life, teams don't just say, "Hey, yeah, you're part of our team now. You're the sixth Ranger." There's always a little bit of that drama or that extra added stuff that I like this book did. And one thing I hope that they continue with Boom Studios with Power Rangers is they continue with the core six. I know they've already dropped hints about Adam in the Pink Ranger miniseries. They dropped it about Rocky and I think Aisha a little bit.
Rocky was the red.
Rocky was, the other
you
three.
Said the pink.
In the Pink Ranger miniseries, if you remember,
the Pink Ranger miniseries.
Right, Trini and Zach were already out of the team.
Yeah. Also,
and this was after Kimberly left the team as well, so we got a little bit of Kat also in the Rangers, and we got to see the Ninzord.
Yeah.
What's up, Tevya? So when it comes to this, I hope they keep the core five. You want to do like when Aisha, Adam, and Rocky joined, make it a different book, make it a mini series, something else. One thing I can say about this comic that you can't say, I mean, now when it came to the TV series, each one of those three members left for another reason. Zach went to Nickelodeon. Jason, I think, went into the army and originally wanted a little bit more money and they wouldn't give it to him. And Trini got a great movie deal. So that's why those three left. So in this case, you have the characters. They're not going to walk off the comic. I would like to see the core six. Even Tommy as the Green Ranger, I'd like to see more. Now, when it comes to the Green Ranger, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers only had so much of Zoo Ranger with the Green Ranger because he was only around for like 5-6 episodes, maybe 7-8, and then he left. So now you have unlimited time, unlimited story. Stick to these 6 Rangers for a time at least. If you want to bring Tommy in as the White Ranger at some point, definitely. I mean, the original 3 was still there when Tommy was the White Ranger. That's fine too. If you want to introduce the White Ranger aspect to the team where it's instead of green, white, fine. But I'd like to see the core 6. I don't want to see the addition of Rocky, Adam, or Aisha. Not for now. I mean, if you do that, then you might as well just keep going, go to the Rangers in space and Turbo and everything else. And then again, you're going to fall into the same problem as the TV series does. Always changing Ranger teams. I would like to see the core 6, the original 6, just keep going with the stories, keep throwing them out there. It took 16 issues to get through the first story. That's a year and a couple of months. You can keep going with this original team. I mean, if you want to throw out miniseries, I mean, there is going to be another ongoing that's coming out where it's their life. So it's basically the Power Rangers without being the Rangers, like the non-Ranger parts. So basically Power Rangers meets Archie in a way. I probably won't review it. I'll read it, but for a lot of Power Ranger fans, that's something that everybody would like to see more of also, is their normal lives. When they're not Rangers, what are they doing? Exactly. So for me, it's not particularly for me, but for somebody out there, it might be something for them. I'll check it out. I'll probably talk about the first issue on the review show. But for me personally, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is more than enough. So I'll probably stick to that, but I will talk about the first issue. But as you guys can see, I don't talk about Archie anymore because, again, you're reading Power Rangers, you want to see Power Rangers. If you want more character development, then you go there. But for me, I'm sticking with Power Rangers. Plastic issue number 3 of 4. Next issue is the last one. So this issue, we finally get to see that sheriff, disgusting asshole, get killed by whatever this guy's name is. I keep forgetting the main character's name. It's one of the first books I read all the time. And he leaves. I love how he leaves the body and the severed head in front of the father's door and says, "Give me back Victoria, please." Because he does the deals for this dude, and this dude wants to keep this guy doing deals for him, but he wants his girlfriend back. And he also saves this girl who's about to be raped by the sheriff, and she ends up joining him to find Victoria. She has no clue that Victoria is basically a doll. And I think she starts by the end of the issue to see that this guy is off his rocker a bit. I'm a little disappointed, though. I wanted more backstory for this guy because apparently he has no records anywhere. Not with the FBI, not in the police, birth records, nothing. So who is this dude? Who is he, and what happened to him that caused him to lose his mind? I don't think we'll ever know unless we get a volume 2. I mean, this is a miniseries. I am definitely enjoying Plastic. It's an interesting story arc. If you haven't been reading it yet, just stick around. It is weird, Tevi. I will agree with that. Just wait around, get the trade paperback instead. It's an interesting book. You know what? I wouldn't particularly say get it. You have a local Barnes & Noble near you or a local comic shop near you where they get these trades. Check it out in the store. I would say flip through it, see if it's something you're interested in. If you're a fan of Image books, like if you like grabbing like Image miniseries and random stories and stuff like that, this might be up your alley. But if you're normally not an Image buyer, like you don't really buy a lot from Image, check it out in your local stores before you buy because it might not be for you. Honestly, the interest in how it's going to end is what keeps me coming back, and the next issue is the last issue. So,
all right. So now we're going into my books with Valiant. We're going to do some Ning Jack and Shadow Man in Rapture issue number 2.
Now we got up to this in the last live show before we got cut off, and our friend Rob Wise guy actually said the cover is gorgeous, and I agree.
Yeah,
100%.
It's really gorgeous. And you know, it says Ning Jack Shadow Man. I feel like that this book is more focused on, yes, Ning Jack, but I feel also on Eternal Warrior. Because Eternal Warrior is also in this book as well. But long story short, it just talks about Eternal Warrior telling Tama about Babel, who is the Emperor of the Tower. And his tower is controlled by magic. So we all know Punk Mambo is all about magic. And Ning Jack comes back with some more information about what magic is at that tower, so that way they can defeat it, or to unpossess it, so that way they can fight the war there, Babel and his men. So Shadow Man, and this is the Shadow Man that you read about.
Okay.
He actually
I did ask you that the last time.
He actually does go up to go and fight against him without the team. He just goes on his own. But when he wants to go fight against him, he makes this negotiation with him that I don't think that he'll want to refuse. I can't really remember what it was about, but it was something that's going to be a really tough decision that he is going to have to make. And that's to be continued in next issue. So it was a little bit dialogue heavy, and it was a little bit all over the place, but I kind of see where it's going, you know, because it talked about Babel more, even though we found out more in the issue of himself. It really is more about the tower and his magic per se of what it's controlled by, that it's still going. Now, this was the last issue, but I'm glad it's not. Red Sonja issue number 6. So in Red Sonja issue number 6, we have Agent Michael and Sonja going up against Colin Goth and the demonic dragon-like per se. And this does take place in Coney Island.
Which is literally, whenever I hear Coney Island, this is why I tried to really like Harley Quinn.
At the Wonder Wheel.
Yeah, this is why I try, of course, of all places, a dragon in Brooklyn, especially Coney Island, would be under the Wonder Wheel. But anyway, whenever a book has Coney Island in it, I mean, for us, it's a 5-minute train ride. It's like a couple of stops from where we live, or a half-hour to 15-minute walk from where we live. So whenever I hear a book that has Coney Island in it, it's like, for me, it's like, oh, so it's a book that takes place close to home. Not super close to home, but close enough to home. So for us, it's always fun to have books that involve Coney Island. I really wish I could have liked Harley Quinn a little bit more. I didn't. I still read it digitally, casually. I am super far behind. I'm talking like I'm at the beginning of Rebirth almost. And
you liked it because it was at Coney Island,
right? I don't know if I don't even know if she left by now. She might have left Coney Island for all I know.
think
Nobody tell me either. I don't.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
She did. If she did, at some point she is, because she's a Gotham girl. She's gonna go back to Gotham.
That's where her home thing is. But anyway, getting back to the book. So at the Wonder Wheel, they take their fight against Cullen Goth and this dragon. So as the whole fight's going on, as Agent, why don't you say Agent? Agent, I'm just gonna say Michael because that's who he is. Tries to fight against him, and the thing is, he's trying to remember the magic spells because remember, he knows the spells that was in where Red Sonja comes from. So as the fight's going on, the portal opens up where the dragon goes to someone that's not really like so mean to him and everything. Like it goes to a new owner, and you know how when villains they always work together, it always ends up that one of them leaves the other. So as Michael gets the upper hand on Cullen Goth, Red Sonja gets more of the upper hand of decapitating him. And, of course, he's still alive. But as the portal's still open, Michael makes the sacrifice of spearing him right through the portal. And that's how the fight ended there. But one of his friends in the detective group has this mobile app where they know where he is. But if they're going to have to find him, it's in a far, far, far journey that they're going to have to go, probably across sea, I think, to the next few states or so, to bring him back to where he was. So like I said, I'm glad it's not the end because it sounded like it was going to be the end. It's to be continued, so I'm going to see more of what's going to go on in that story. And finally, Red Agent, the Human Order, issue number 8.
Following Red Sonja.
I know that's why I put them together. What I like about this book is that I like how Britt, who's Red Agent, Avril, and Talisman, they have a trio working together. Now, in this story, I can't remember what the guy's name was. He was in, I think, the last issue or so where he was under that science experiment, and they try to find out where his location is. So they go to this woman, and they give more about it, and she actually dies when she tries to tell them what the message was about him. So as they find him, they go through like this really epic fight scene, and the artwork was beautiful. And it was like an all-out fight, and it's going to be continued in the final issue of Red Agent: The Human Order. But I didn't really see her turn to a werewolf as much. Like, you know how when she gets mad and she always
maybe
turns...
did it, man.
I mean, I don't know if it's a new direction, but maybe in the final issue she might actually transform into the werewolf. I don't know.
Who knows?
But I'm liking the issue. The next issue, like I said, is going to be the final issue, and we're going to see what happens there.
All right, TMNT Universe issue number 11, and this is actually where we got cut off, right here. So we are officially caught up now. As you guys can see, I noticed this on the stream. I'm just going to show on the other stream. I'm going to show it here too. If you notice, between the $4.99, apparently there was a ink blotch mistake. But anyway, getting into this book, it involves 2 of the Mutanimals. I don't know their names. I really don't have an interest in Mutanimals, so to speak. No offense, but I don't really like the Mutanimals. The story about them fighting against Bishop's agents. They're on the run away from them. They bump into this other mutant. Apparently there's more than them now in the world. There are other mutants in the world, which shouldn't surprise us because we keep seeing more and more. They want him to join them. He does. Then he gets involved in this fight with them and decides, you know what? I'm just going to go off into the forest to be left alone. Thank you for your offer, but no thank you. And they go their separate way, and then there's a nice mini story, a little secondary story at the end. When it comes to TMNT Universe, though, this is a $5 book. $5 a month. Now, when it comes to $5 books, you got to be really a little bit tougher on them than you are with a standard book that's like $2.99, $3.99. This book, going into this book when it started up, I said I would like to see stories about the Turtles that we don't normally, little add-on stories with the Turtles, April, Casey, maybe Kaurai, which we are getting a Kaurai story. Starting in, I think it starts in August, but it might actually start in July. I could be wrong. It probably does start in July, unless there's a one and done story again. And then because I know I made our August order and she's in the August book. But having these really out of the way stories with like for Aloplex and Angel with that the Toad that's going to be part of the TMNT story next, which scares me because I did not like that. Was the worst TMNT Universe book to date. This book was better than that, artwork and story wise. But to have this one and done story. When this series started, it had the Turtles. It was about the Turtles. It introduced another character, brought Null back, you know, for an issue. That was good. I enjoyed the first arc. I hated the secondary story like the first story. Then we got into the Toad story, and that kind of took it out. And now we're in this one, and it's still not. I'm really all for building on the TMNT universe. I want the universe to be expanded on and built on. But for $5 a month, this is not a mini series, and this is not something that's, you know, for a limited time. This is every month, 12 months out of the year. There's 12 issues every single year. Next month actually is the year anniversary. It started last July, and it's going into its 1 year anniversary next month, the 12th issue. I don't see this as a physical book on my reviews if this is the direction they're going much longer. This will actually, and it hurts to say this is going to be the first TMNT book I drop. It's not the main TMNT book. That book will remain physical. But I think I will be moving TMNT Universe to my digital pile because for $5, I just don't feel like the book is at that point. If they were to bring this book down to $3.99, less pages, fine. I don't care. I would get it. But for $5 a month, and for the title TMNT, it's just not worth it for me. I would rather read it digitally and pay a little bit less than read it physically and pay $5. I can get 2 books for the price of this one book. I feel like that was one of the first. This was actually one of the first books I read again because once you see the cover, you know it's not about the Turtles. It's about these guys. I love the Eastman covers. Don't get me wrong. If I can get an Eastman cover, I always get it. But actually, this is not an Eastman cover. This is a Freddie Williams, the second cover. But if I can get an Eastman cover, I do this. Just this time around, it didn't happen, but normally I do. It's again, it's not my. I would rather focus. This is like the Power Rangers again. I would rather focus on the main Turtle book, and we're gonna have Dimension X in August, which is just like Bebop and Rocksteady. 1 issue a week for 5 weeks. The first week of August all the way to the last week of August. And we're going to have that. We're going to have the main TMNT book. We're going to have TMNT Universe. A lot's going on. And again, that series is only $2.99 or $3.99 as well. And it's once a week. TMNT Universe has just not been there for the past couple of months for me. Maybe it's best that it moves to digital for me. That's probably what's going to happen after the Cowrai story. We'll see what's next. If it's a Turtle story, obviously I'll keep it physical.
Right.
But if it's going to go right back to being side characters that, yeah, it'd be nice to read it digitally, but not have a physical $5 book on it, I'll move it digital. Just the way it'll have to be. I mean, you know, you got to be, when it comes to $5 books, you got to be harder. And I hate that. I truly do hate that because I love the Turtles. But $5, you know, especially because Marvel does $5 books all the time that we got to worry about. And then when DC hits their annual books or whatever, which it starts, actually, it started a couple of issues. I could talk. It's happening now with the issue 25s where they're charging an extra $1. You'll see that when we get there. And they're doubling the pages there. There's a lot of reading going on. When it comes to stuff like this, I can read it casually whenever I feel like it. And, again, read it digitally instead. It's endgame time. And I'm not going to get too into it because this is going to be part of There Can Be Only One, the next podcast. Highlander, the American Dream, issue number 5. This is the final part. This ended really, really well. I liked how they introduced Carrigan and how it leads into the first movie. I like the final bout between Connor and Hook. We find out what happens to the monk in this book. It felt so good. It felt true Highlander. If you're a Highlander fan, damn, you should have read this series. If you didn't, get the trade. Get the trade and actually go back and get the other trades that I think Dynamite did. Dynamite did 3 or 4 trades. Get those as well. But this writer knew his Highlander, knew Connor. It felt like I was reading a Highlander movie. it felt like I was in the Highlander universe again. I really do hope they pick this up. They picked up Back to the Future. They picked up so many other books. This book has fair potential, like all the other books, to really be something huge. I definitely would recommend checking out Highlander American Dream. It was a pleasure to read, and I truly, truly hope that we go back to the Highlander book again soon from IDW. And if IDW doesn't want to pick it up, Dynamite pick it back up again, or somebody pick it back up again. It was such a pleasure to read. The writer, who is, I want to give the writer credit because he did a great job with this series, and this is the last issue. Also, just to let you guys know, Clue, the book Clue is out from IDW. But writer is Brian Ruckley, art by Andrea Muti. This book was just amazing from start to finish, man. This book had amazing, amazing, amazing stuff going on in it. I would definitely recommend you guys check out Highlander, The American Dream. It was really good, amazing stuff. I'm really glad that Brant and I started the podcast, and I'm even happier that I read this book. It brought back Highlander nostalgia. If I didn't already buy the Highlander DVD sets, after reading this, I totally would have, because it just brought back all those feelings of why I love Highlander so much. Now going into the digital DC and Marvels, Injustice 2 #4. We get more on Harley versus Ra's al Ghul. We get a really nice backstory on Batman talking to Ollie's son about him and Damian's relationship, or how Damian grew up. We all know that Damian is the we don't know yet, but we found out in the game already that it was Damian playing Batman. We're going to find out very soon in the comic, I guess, as well. Spoiler, I guess, for those of you who haven't played the game yet, but if you're reading the Injustice comic, 9 out of 10 of you are playing the game also, so you already know this. It was a nice story. Honestly, I find this falling into a casual read for me soon, but I am enjoying it. I'm not saying I'm dropping it. I probably will read it a bit slower. There are just so many books. I mean, 28 this week, and this week was a light week. Plus, there are issue 25s that are double page. There was annuals that are over there that we're going to talk about that are digital. There's so much to read that some things have to. I mean, it's starting to get to the point where, God bless Jay to hell. I mean, Jay reads everything, and he's been doing the reading of everything longer than me and Mike have done the comic reviews. Probably longer than I've been collecting. He's been reading almost every single book. For me, after we get to like 30 books a week, it gets overwhelming. And right now, I'm at the threshold of I'm reading a lot of books, and there's a lot more that's still coming. Legacy is coming soon. And I'm starting to get that feeling of, and you know, having a week off made me realize I have an overwhelming amount of books to read. And I need to start putting, even if I love a book, I need to start putting it in a casual read pile, because there's a lot. There's just too much to read, too much to review. And this is all going to culminate into, like I said, the announcement video, which again, I'm going into before the end of the review. But at the same time, I'm talking about it now. So I want to talk about that now. Injustice 2 is a good comic. I'm not saying it's bad, and I will still be reading it. But I think it's going to fall into a casual read, just because I can't do what God bless Jay can do. He can do every single book and remember everything and confidently sit in front of a camera and talk about the books. Personally, I feel like after a couple of days, especially reading all the books I read, I'll always forget a detail or two, especially once you get to 30 books.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just way too much. And that's 30 books between us. Imagine if one of us read all 30 of those books. Okay. Forget it. We're forgetting names now as is already. I mean, again, when it comes to books, we read them first and foremost for enjoyment, second to review and talk about online. Tevia, when it comes to Marvel Legacy, I have to disagree with you until I start reading it. I am going to stay indifferent about whether Legacy is a waste of time or not till we see it. When we see it, when we're in it, when we're doing it, will be whether I agree or disagree with you. Right now, I'm not at liberty to agree or disagree. And Tevia, you should not let other people. I know a few people who do videos on YouTube that I don't watch anymore, that are very against Marvel, that are really trashing Marvel, something awful. And the truth of the matter is we don't know until it comes out. Now, there are certain things they're teasing already, like with the Human Torch and the Thing and the lenticular covers, which better be regular price or else I'm not buying a single one of them. But I still say we have to wait with Marvel Legacy. When the books come out, and this is again why I say I'm reading way too much. Imagine I'm reading 30 books now. Imagine Avengers next book. Imagine, well, the X books are already there. Venom's already there. But imagine other books that are going to be popping out when Legacy hits. There will be other books that are coming out. And I want to touch on a few of them. And to have a pile this big already, that's adding more stuff to read and to read fast because we do videos on them. It's overwhelming and it burns you out. I truly feel like I'm on the verge of being burnt out and needing a severe break on talking about comics for a while because I just feel like I'm reading so much and it's overwhelming. And again, and I'll bless Jay by the love of God for my entire life. God bless him. He could read everything and not get overwhelmed and keep going, and every week read everything. And God bless him for that. I can't do it. I can't do it. I know you can't do it. I'm not going to speak for everybody on Frontline because I know that Mike Spider Slayer reads a lot of books. Kat reads a lot of books. I know Brant reads a lot of books, but he's behind as well. So I don't know about everybody else on Frontline, but as far as I'm concerned, I can only read so much before I feel like it's just so much to talk about. So for me and Michael, it's just, you're going to notice not a huge drop, but a really significant drop in books that we discussed just because there's so much between Marvel and DC and then the independents and then like Tekken and Street Fighter, which are independent still. It's a lot. It's too much. So yeah, we just need that break, or else or not even a break. We need to have a pile that we can feel confident about reading. And we do get our books. We got from Wednesday to the following Monday. That's a lot of days. But when you have a child, work, other work that I'm doing, plus the writing and the work on my own book, time is not exactly something that we have a lot of. Don't think that we literally can, it's hard. It's very hard to read a lot of books. And then Tevi is telling us about one book that he's looking forward to, which is no surprise to me. Darth Maul, issue number 4. I like this book. They're being hunted now. Darth takes the Jedi under his wing, so to speak. They go and survive together. And the inevitable happens, of course, by the end of the book. The Jedi is trying to push Darth Maul to the light, to the Jedi side. Darth Maul is trying to convince God has decided to join us for some reason. You agree with me, God? Thank you. I blessed Jay a lot of times. That this is why I blessed Jay, and now God heard my blessing of Jay. So Jay, this is for you. All this light that's coming in, this is God blessing you. And I don't know if Jay's watching. He probably isn't. It's 1 a.m., 2 a.m. almost, and he's probably not watching. But this is God blessing you for all the stuff that you read, Jay. But anyway, as far as the book is, it's really good. I really am enjoying Darth Maul. It's a fun miniseries. I like the feeling of him trying to convert her. She's trying to bring him to the Jedi side. We all know it's not going to work that way. Is she going to escape, though? Because this takes place before even episode 1. So the Jedi Order is still out there, technically. So the question is, will she escape Darth Maul, or will Darth Maul kill her? Because the universe doesn't know about Darth Maul yet. So I don't think she is going to escape, because if she does, then they will know about Darth Maul. But then again, they did hear of him. So maybe she's the reason why they heard of him. I don't know. I'm trying to get the camera to cool down a little bit, because as much as I love God and all, I don't want to... Oh, if that's all I had to do. It's pretty good again. All right. Spider-Man 2099 issue number 24. We get a little bit more into... You're going to bring God back again.
Well, that's how I see the cover.
I want to see if they bring God back now. A little bit of God. A little bit of God.
All right, come on. Just leave it.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it. There we go. So, in this issue, you know, he finds out, Miguel finds out that something happened to him. That is his girlfriend. But who's Spidey 2099? And they're fighting to stop this woman who, it's basically that woman that could cut the hairs and it kills somebody. You remember from the Hercules books?
Oh, the one that cuts the string.
And then that kills people. She's basically had enough of that, and she wants to just kill a bunch of people all at once. She wants to end humanity and end it all. And they stop her. I love how Pete, oh my God, why did his name leave? Miles and Captain America 2099 are there, and they're helping the Spidey 2099 of the present and the girlfriend, Miguel's girlfriend, fighting off against this woman. But I love how they're dropping hints. Is that really him? Is he back? Or I thought he and they're all stopping each other from saying it. Oh, and what's her name was there? Silk. And then finally Miguel finds out he did in fact die. He did die. And the girlfriend wants to tell him how to prevent it. And he's like, no. I already ruined 2099 once God is back, and I just give up. I ruined 2099 already once by somehow the interference of Alchemax. I'm trying to fix it so that this way it won't, what happened in the future won't happen, and we can have 2099 back. If I'm going to die in order to save the future, so be it. I don't think he's going to die. You know what I think is going to happen?
What?
He's going to get thrusted back into 2099. And they're going to think he's dead, but he's in 2099.
Oh, wow.
But we find out, and this is a huge spoiler here, that the Spider-Man in the classic 2099 suit is Miguel's son. Now, we knew the girlfriend was pregnant already.
Right. So
Miguel's son is taking up the mantle of Spidey 2099, or maybe he calls himself something different, I'm not sure, after Miguel's gone. And this is but the weird thing is he's only about 15-20 years, well no, he's about 20 years into the future. But why that I wonder if there's time travel involved also with Miguel's son then. Probably. Why he's older. Either way though, I like this issue. Definitely felt interesting. I'm definitely interested in 2099 a little bit again. And obviously I feel like 2099 is going to end though. Unless it gets the legacy renumbering, which it could also. And he goes back to 2099. Or it's the son that's going to be the star. Or there'll be 2 2099 books. There's so much potential for Marvel to make so much money here, but we'll see. Now, there are 2 books, and Mike's going to show both. Secret Empire Underworld and Secret Empire Underground. And Secret Empire Brave New World 2. Show both covers. I'm throwing it out there. I skimmed them because I truly am done with the miniseries connected to Secret Empire because there are just too many connected to Secret Empire. Brave New World continues the Namor story and a few other stories from issue 1. Obviously, Brave New World is going to be a miniseries of connected stories in that. So we're going to be seeing the Namor story all the way through to the end. God is back again. And I'm just not going to bother. No, don't bother, because it made the screen look all like gray and stuff. I didn't like it. Oh, so, okay. No, but I think it fixed itself up when you did that. So do it next time. But again, when it comes to Marvel's events, they look to make that extra dollar. And Brave New World issue 2 continues the Namor story. If you hate Namor like Kat hates Namor, you're not going to want to read this book. You're not going to want to read anything. You're not going to care. These are all little stories that make no difference.
Does it really relate to...
No. That's what I'm saying. These are all small stories that have no impact.
So why do them?
Exactly.
That's just a waste. Oh.
So, Brave New World, done talking about that. And as far as the other one, which was Underground, I skimmed it. Didn't like the art. Don't care. Don't give Marvel extra money. If you're enjoying Secret Empire like I am, read the main book, read whatever books you normally read, that crossover in Secret Empire, and that's it. I'm reading XMen Gold, I'm reading Amazing Spider-Man for now, and I'm reading a few other books. As they cross into Secret Empire, I'll just continue to read them as usual, and then when Secret Empire is over, I'm done. That's it. We're done. It's over. And I'm not getting any minis. Secret Warriors, I believe, came out this week as well. I just breezed. I didn't even bother reading it. I think. I could be wrong. I'm done with all the minis and stuff connected to it. Don't need it. You don't need it. I mean, if you want a full, like if you want the full experience of Secret Empire, get everything. Get every single miniseries. Get every single book that crosses over to Secret Empire. Get Secret Empire. Get the director's cut. Get the I Want Your Blood Money variant for $2,000 for issue number 1 through 10, because issue 9, 10, and 8 are coming out in August. Yes, 3 issues are coming out in August because they had to add that 10th issue. And guess what? Issue 9 and 10, because issue 9 was the end, it's $5. But because they added a 10th issue, it's still $5. They didn't lower the price. They added the 10th book, and that's also $5. So $10 for the last 2 parts of the book. They did it again. Damn it, Marvel. This is why I don't buy their miniseries. Because it was supposed to end at 9. They could have lowered the price by $1, made it $3.99, and said, okay, the last issue's 10. That's going to be $5.99. No. Both books are $5.99. And, of course, they'll both be bigger than the normal series, but still. I'd rather the 10th book be $5, shrink the pages in the 9th, and put them in the 10th.
I guess that works.
But again, this is why I'm glad we're getting an 18-month break after this event, or so Marvel says. Will they stay true to their word? Probably not, but we'll see how long that lasts. And will Legacy be worth it? That I'm not going to say probably not. I need to actually see it. I want to actually see it, and then we'll know if it's worth it. Now, I read this very, very casually because I just wanted to get the heads up because it's an alpha. Now, as you know, Weapon X and all Totally Awesome Hulk are setting up for the big event crossover between the 2 books. All the books up to this point were set up. Now we have the WMD, Weapons of Mutant Destruction. This is the Alpha one-shot, I believe. Whatever, it's number 1. So it's number 1. This is where the actual event is starting. So we're starting here. And yes, I know, Tevya, Venomverse is coming out. Is starting actually. $3.99 Venomverse, or the Edge of the Venomverse issue number 1 actually will be out. But anyway, Tevya, you weren't here at the beginning. We're trying to stay on topic of the books we're talking about. I know we were just talking abroad, but now that we're back to this, let's stick to just what we're talking about. What were we talking? Yes, the one-shot. I got the trade paperback. As you guys know, I'm getting Weapon X as a trade paperback. And the trade paperback that I'm getting is all the setup, all the Weapon X books up to this point, the first Totally Awesome Hulk book, and this one-shot is in it. And then we go into the actual event. And the actual event, which is in the end of the book, they show you all the checklist. I think it goes all the way into September. All the way into September. And everything up to this point is a setup. This book, we find out how the Reverend came back to life. We found out that he's been doing this for a while. We have the team setting up to go after this dude. And we have this other guy. We find out that one of the robots was modeled after one of his followers. And we find out that he's taking actual followers of his cult and using them to mutate them into his ultimate weapon. And that's what he's stealing the DNA from all the Weapon X mutants for. And he wants to destroy mutant kind or whatever. It was an interesting one-shot. Again, it's all set up for what's starting in the next Weapon X issue. I don't understand why they start a book and the first thing, we got to start a crossover right there. Right now, we got to start that crossover. Weapon X should have had its own story first. But then again, Totally Awesome Hulk might be totally awesomely leaving the fold after Legacy. Or maybe it'll be sticking around. Who knows? I know that a few things are going to be changing when Legacy comes out. We'll have to wait and see. So I had 2 really awesome books from Marvel this week. And Michael had a really good book from Marvel this week. XMen Gold issue number 6. We find out that Rachel, we get in the mind of Rachel, and we find out that she's just not reaching her true potential because she's afraid of herself, afraid of what she'll become if she reaches her true potential. And she takes a walk down her own mind, so to speak, where she talks to her mother, Jean, her father, Cyclops, and just herself also from when she made her first appearance. And she kind of snaps out of it, and she, you know, we all know that the Sentinel that they're fighting, the X-Men, is sentient, and the only way to stop it is through a psionic attack. we find that there was a really interesting scene with Storm and Gambit. And then they take out the Sentinel. Something's happening with Rachel. Something's happening with Pete. And we see little hints that the Sentinel might still be alive somewhere. Interesting book. Obviously, the next issue will be, however, going into Secret Empire. This is the end of the story arc. So what happened to Pete? What's going on? What did Rachel see in those eyes? I'll show you guys what Rachel saw in her eyes. I thought that was interesting. I think Rachel somehow is attuned to the multiverse a bit, because we get to see like old Marvel, we get to see America and a few of the other time-hopping mutants. So it's very interesting what's going on with Rachel. I'll be interested to see where this goes with Rachel. XMen Gold has been a really awesome book. I'm really enjoying it. I would definitely recommend it. Looking over, of course, the bad artwork and the bad publicity this got in the first issue, this is a really good X-Men book, and definitely something you guys should be checking out. X-Men Gold and Blue are the beginning of Legacy, and so is all new Wolverine. The X books in general are starting Legacy off, and so is Venom 151, I think, or 52 we're going into next. And I believe Peter Parker, which I'll be talking about in a moment, is going that route. You know, we got books starting in Legacy already, because obviously they'll, you know, started.
Yeah.
You're not going to end them so early to start them up again.
All right. So I reviewed this on Frontline, which is Luke Cage, issue number 2. And since let me show you the cover a little bit better.
Yeah, I like to show a page of artwork at least.
And I'm going to show you, yeah. And since issue number 1 was good and interesting, I thought, why not give issue number 2 a shot? So starts off like Mitchell Tanner, who saves Luke Cage's life. Then we get to Mario Corello, who is talking with what was her name? The artwork's great, by the way. Why am I forgetting her name?
It doesn't matter. Keep going.
Well, anyway, he has a thing about talking about her making a new treatment for her son, his son, because of what he is and everything. So Luke Cage and Mitchell Tanner are going to try to find out where he is, but he also introduces to other people that have Luke Cage's power as well. So that's what Mitchell Tanner is trying to show him for that, and everything else as well. So he wants to go see Mr. Corello, where the doctor, she makes a new treatment, but let's just say that the treatment for him goes very, very wrong. Dr. Monet, that's her name. So what the treatment she made, I don't know how it's going to be for them, but the guy does not look so well, Frankie. So he's transformed in a really huge way.
All right. We got a number 1, so I'll talk a little bit more about this book. We got Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, issue number 1. We've been seeing this book. I love this cover, which basically is a copycat of Superman.
Spider-Man did in the first movie.
Yes, he did, and he did it. And I will say he did it brilliantly, though. Tobey Maguire's that was one of my favorite scenes from that movie. But anyway, I want to try to get some good artwork. Come on, give me some good artwork, damn it. We get a backup story in this first issue. I don't know if that's going to be a constant. But anyway, yeah, we got Spider-Man. It starts off with him talking with Human Torch, and he's back in New York. This is his kind of like
so wait, what universe is this in?
It's the regular universe. This is his time away from Amazing Spider-Man, where Amazing Spider-Man, it's worldwide now.
Was it Spectacular supposed to be in a different universe?
No. Amazing Spider-Man is going to be his worldwide book. That's where he's all over the world. Spectacular is when he's grounded in New York. And if you notice, he has like the classic suit.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
So in this book, it opens up with him talking with Johnny about his background again. And I love how Johnny's kind of like the audience saying, how many times do I have to hear this story? And then Spider-Man ends up in this, there's the robbery that goes on, and he's fighting these dudes, and then Ant-Man shows up, and this girl kind of asks him out. So I guess this is possible potential love interest for Spider-Man more than Peter Parker this time around. So she has Spider-Man out instead of Pete. And then we find out that the Tinkerer, he has a brother
Oh, he does.
And his brother is the opposite of him. He's a good guy. So you got the Tinkerer, who is an old man who works to make new weapons for supervillains to beat the superheroes. And now you have his brother, who's the opposite. He creates and helps other superheroes with equipment to help fight against their supervillains. I like that. And then we also find out that one of the characters from Horizon, one of the employees from Horizon, wanted to stay in New York instead of going to California with Horizon. And he is working with the Thinker's brother. And there was a nice scene there. You have Pete, who is, who was supposed to take, him and Johnny were supposed to go out to see a movie. And he promises he won't be late. And, of course, he ends up being late. And Mike Spiderslayer mentioned this, and I do want to point out, check out Spider-Man Family Values, I believe it's called. It's a hardcover. It's a standalone hardcover book story that I did do a review of somewhere. It's Family Values, I believe. It has Kingpin and Spider-Man on the cover. I don't think it's the top. I had it in my background.
With his daughter?
No, I had it in my background. It's right. Let me see if I can get it. Talk for a second. I think it's this.
Yeah, it's that red book, isn't it?
No, this one. Nope, wrong one.
I think it's the one next to it to the right.
I think you're right.
Is that the one?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one with his
Family
daughter.
Business. No. In Spider-Man, I got it. Spider-Man Family Business, we find out that Pete has a sister, and at first,
a sister.
Yeah, that Pete has a sister, and where was it? I want to see if it shows somewhere.
It was like towards the beginning, wasn't it?
No. Like a twin sister, and oh God, I want to try to get a good picture of her. Like, I know she reveals herself to Pete towards the beginning, and Pete thinks that she's gone by the end of the book. And here we go. She reveals that she's his sister, and at the end of this story arc, Pete's sister talk is cool. Thank you, man. And that's Braven Campbell. Welcome to the show. So she was introduced in Family Business. If you did not read Family Business, I would definitely, it looks like that's where Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, is going from. Definitely check out Family Business. It is a $25 book. Really cool. It's a really great book. I enjoyed it. It's a standalone hardcover story. I believe I actually still have the digital copy, unless I used it. No, I used it. But definitely check this book out. It gives you a bit more of a background on Pete's sister. But I like how they kind of played off Spectacular Spider-Man where nobody knew about it. Because, yeah, Johnny's standing there waiting for Pete, and then this girl comes up, and he's like, oh, hello. Because she overhears him talking to Pete. And who's writing this one is Chip Zdarsky, and the art is by Adam Kubert for this one. If you mean this book is written by Mark Waid, and the art is by James Robinson. So Mark Waid's the creator of the sister in Family Business. So Family Business was Mark Waid. Spectacular Spider-Man is Chip Zdarsky. And I like the way they ended this first story with, Johnny, this girl going, no, I heard you were talking to Peter Parker. I'm his sister. And he's like, wait, what? And I love how the next issue is, wait, what? And then you get a nice background story with Spider-Man, a secondary story at the end. Really good book. But wasn't Peter's sister a fake? They never confirmed nor denied it. She did play it off that it was fake in this book. No, I don't. I think somehow I believe that, yeah, you're right. I know where you're going. I don't want to spoil this book, Tevye. You're right, where it did end in this book where the woman wasn't, 100% his sister. But I don't know if what they're going to do is they're going to springboard off of this book back into Spectacular. I'm just pointing out where the sister first appeared. I don't want to give a background on the sister. I want people to read this book, Tev. So I'm not gonna go off and explain this book and review it. But this was a good book, great artwork, great story, Mark Waid. But the sister did make her first appearance in Family Business, so definitely check out Family Business if you want the full background story on the sister. Okay, Tavia, I put the quotations for you. Sister. So now we go into DC Comics. Spectacular Spider-Man issue 1, really good, a lot better than Amazing Spider-Man. I promise, I will say this, guys. While Amazing is on the chop block, if Peter Parker's Spectacular Spider-Man continues the route it's on in this book, oh, it's sticking around. It's sticking around way past Amazing.
All right, so now we're going into some DC books, and this one's crossed with Looney Tunes. Lobo Roadrunner, issue number,
I have to take it out of the cover.
issue number 1. This book was really awesome. Like, what this book talks about is that it does, it does talk about the first book, like goes in the DC universe, where how Wile Coyote was created and how Roadrunner was created. They were in like a secret laboratory, and they were like mutants, so to say. So they were like created by these scientists. And then basically, I just want to show you Lobo artwork, because the Lobo artwork was really drawn amazing. And this is the Lobo we all like, not the Lobo that we saw then. I'm going to talk about that Lobo. The main man. That's the main man. And
that Lobo's gone.
Yeah, thank God.
It is a nice cover. I agree.
Yeah. And
we had Brevin who said.
Yeah, and then we have Wile Coyote, who was trespassing in the military place where he shouldn't have been. So his objective is to become a super genius to, of course, stop Roadrunner, because that's his mission. He asks Lobo to try and do it for him, and then Lobo tries to go after the Roadrunner as Wile Coyote's going to Oa, the home of the Green Lantern Corps, to finish Lobo's business. I forgot who was to go against this guy. Do you know?
Kilowog.
Yeah, Kilowog. Thank you. So they're basically doing each other's jobs as a trade, and it's just like really just funny. And it was just the way the ending was, where Wile Coyote, he got the ring to get Roadrunner. So yeah, that was just awesome. And then the second story just goes Looney Tune artwork, where Lobo is being all PG and Bugs Bunny's like saying,
it looks like the WB Lobo. Yeah, that looks like the Superman version of Lobo.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, and Bugs like saying, you can't do this, you can't do that, because your contract says this and that. And he's just going so mad with trying to get Roadrunner, and everything just with that was, well, he thought he killed Roadrunner, and Bugs Bunny's like saying, you weren't supposed to do that, but he escaped. Ain't he a stinker? Really great book. I really enjoyed reading that one. And I think the next one I'm reading is the All-Star Western with Yosemite Sam. I'm waiting for that.
I have Batman Elmer Fudd this coming week.
All right, but this week you have
Wonder Woman Tasmanian Devil. It was all right. It was all right. It truly was. Wonder Woman as a child. Wonder Woman as a child ventures off into this forest, and she encounters the devil, and she kind of knocks him out, and then he wakes up years later, and she's Wonder Woman, and she and him team up to fight these invaders from. I love how Aquaman has long hair and a beard again now. What are they gonna do next? The hook hand again? They better not.
God, no.
And Wonder Woman and Tasmanian Devil team up against oh God, what's her name? Medusa, and Taz and Wonder Woman end up fighting this girl. He gets into this armor, and they fight her. They win, of course. And Taz goes back to his world happily ever after. And then the Looney Tune version, of course, kind of basically the same thing. You have other.
It just does a little recap of what.
Yeah, it's a recap of exactly.
PG way.
Exactly, it's a recap of what happened in the book, 100%. Where Taz helps the woman in the end, and he saves Wonder Woman from the invaders. The end. It was a very nice book, but again,
they should have let him talk like they did for Wile Coyote.
You know, he didn't talk. He talked the way Taz always talks. So,
yeah. Next book.
Dead Space for Trinity, issue number 10. I'm really not digging Dead Space. I'm really not. I truly am not.
The thing, not the video game.
Yeah, no, the video game I dig. This I don't. So we find out that the beings that this other being wants to destroy, the aliens that are attaching themselves to the Justice League's head, apparently they're sentient. They're not a virus. They're actually sentient beings, And this thing is explaining that they found them on their world and they cultivated in their world, and they invaded like a virus. And if they end up on Earth, the same thing's going to happen. But we find out that they're actually sentient. They want to live, and it's not they're not exactly a virus. They just need hosts. And what happens is a Wonder Woman finds this out and then joins.
What the hell?
Yeah, so it looks like Wonder Woman's going to be fighting this dude next. Oh, we have some preview artwork for the Aquaman book. I like the artwork in Aquaman. I might check it out, actually. I do like the artwork teaser for Aquaman. I might actually check it out, starting with 25. Jeez, I think it came out this week. I'll have to look that up again.
Right
or
here.
Last week. Really, this is a weak story arc. It really is. I feel like Trinity's been weak, and that's sad because this is the Trinity of heroes. Trinity of Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman. At this point, I'd rather they end Trinity and do World's Finest with Batman and Superman, because Trinity is just not holding up like Superman Batman did. If you guys remember back in the early 2000s, Public Enemy, and then you had Apocalypse Now with Supergirl, the reintroduction of Supergirl. Man, it was so good. I'd rather have World's Finest back and just get rid of Trinity, because it's just not, the stories for Trinity are not holding as well as the stories for World's Finest. Not the one we got in New 52, the one we got pre-New 52. Batwoman issue number 4. We got Batwoman fighting the girl that was raised by Sophia, and we find out that she wanted to destroy the island because Batwoman apparently destroyed Sophia and the island. But in the end, Batwoman's able to stop the destruction of the island. Nobody who didn't see that coming. The girl goes away and says, "Remember, Kate, death is on your doorstep." So now she's got to chase after these dudes, which is leaving Karaya once again. So she does end up leaving Karaya, and she leaves the bar, which she owns now, in the hands of somebody else, and she gets annoyed again that Kate's leaving. She's leaving a mess for them to clean up, and it kind of leaves off where the many hands are basically gunning for Batwoman. What's next? To be continued. And we find out also that Alfred's daughter is talking to Batman behind Batwoman's back to make sure that Batwoman stays on the straight and narrow. But in the end, she second guesses herself and doesn't send that last message to Batman, warning Batman that she's working with the underworld, with thieves and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's going to play a huge problem in the future. All right, now we're getting into the issue 25s, and all the issue 25s, like the covers say. Oh, this one doesn't have it on
not this one.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is a variant. No, this is a variant. That's not 25. I'm sorry. I have the variant for Green Lanterns, and that's why it doesn't say it here. But on the regular covers, it has a. I'll show you guys in another issue. It's double size. That's why the $3.99 price tag. Some of them will stay that way. Some of them won't. I don't believe this has a digital code. I actually want to check to confirm or deny that, and I don't see it, so I don't believe they know. I don't believe it has it. So there's no digital code here. So Volthoom tricks Jessica and Simon to go with him to the Vault of Shadow, or the Vault of Shadows, and we find out a little bit more about the original 7 Lanterns. We get, I think, the backstory on one of the Green Lanterns that Jessica and Simon knows, and then we get another backstory on the girl who I believe had Kate's ring. But Rami, the Volthoom in Rami's body leaves because he gets the first ever ring, and he's able to finally take form again. So Rami's body is now empty, and Volthoom is back into his human body, and now he wants Jessica's ring. Like I said, we get the backstory on the other character. He ends up stopping Simon and destroying, spoiler alert, destroying Simon's ring. These are important books. That's why we're going a little bit more into them. But something's going on with the tattoo on Simon's arm. Is that going to be his new... I have a feeling Simon's not going to be a Green Lantern. I have a feeling that his arm, he's going to be like the next, maybe, oh God, what was that other Green Lantern? Ion. Maybe he'll be the next Ion or something. I don't know. Maybe he'll get a ring again. I don't know. Maybe the tattoo sucked in a lot of the green energy. You know what I mean? And he still has the Green Lantern powers. But Volthoom wants Jessica's ring because it is attached to his original lantern, the travel lantern, and he wants to go back to Earth 15, which is where he's from. And Jessica's trying to get away from him, and because she owns the ring, he has no right to access it. Like he doesn't have sufficient permission anymore. And what happens is he wants to go to Earth 15. She wants to get away from him. So she's like, Ring, get me away from him now. So he says, go to Earth 15. She says, do it now. The ring activates. Volthoom is stuck in the present, but it looks like Simon and Jessica are going to be taking a trip through the multiverse. And all throughout the book, Simon wrote this letter to his best friend, who is his sister's husband. And I agree with you. I agree with you, Briven. Green Lanterns, I originally dropped it. This is the last physical book I had to buy from Midtown. Starting with the next issue, I'm back on track from DCBS getting Green Lanterns. Oh, man. Green Lanterns really, it was down for a while, but it definitely has picked up a lot since where we were at. That's for sure. I'm a little pissed off at Nightwing after reading this issue. So we find out that Dick was a little bit, he didn't go for that job interview because of what happened with Blockbuster's brother, making him a job offer to stop Tiger Shark. We all know, from the beginning, we all knew that this was fake, that he was using Nightwing because Tiger Shark originally hired him to bring Nightwing in, dead or alive. So Nightwing's working with Blockbuster, and we find out he doesn't go for his job interview, and that upsets Sean. And she's like, ever since you, you know, the baby scare was done, you seem more relieved than upset. And he's like, you know, I always wanted a child that would, like, emulate me, who would want to be, you know, who would find the good and, you know, follow in my footsteps. I'm just scared that he would, and this is what pissed me off, he'd learn the opposite from you. So basically saying, I am the good guy, you were a bad guy. And because you were a bad guy, I don't know if our child might pick up your bad habits. And I love how in the background, Sean, it looks like Sean is talking with her old partner. So I think that Dick is really pushing his girlfriend to not only be his ex-girlfriend, but he's pushing her right back into crime. And, you know, I'm a little upset at Dick. I would expect him to be a bit smarter than that. We also get to see Skyhook. And if for those of you reading Superwoman right now, you know that Skyhook is the main antagonist in that book right now. And it turns out, of course, Dick gets betrayed, and now Tiger Shark is going to be using all of his new weapons, or he's going to be the test subject on the new weapons Tiger Shark is giving to the gangs of Bloodhaven.
Why
now, see,
him?
I'm a little annoyed here because you'd think that Dick was the more sensitive, and he's like, I understand. They're like, oh, well, Dick said he could always be honest with his girlfriend, and she's the only one he could be honest with. But at the same time, man, that was low. I mean, even for me, I would not say, oh, you were a supervillain, Cindy, so I wouldn't want to have a baby with you because he'll pick up. That's wrong. She's reformed. If anything, he wouldn't pick up her dirty. I mean, habits are not, or it was such a dumb statement because being a superhero, being a supervillain is not something you're born. Oh, my mom was a supervillain, so I'm going to be a supervillain. No. It's how they're raised. And Dick and Sean, who is reformed, would have raised the baby to be good. Look at Damien, who's the son of Talia and Bruce. Half of him is from Ra's al Ghul's side. I mean, seriously, that was such a dumb statement, especially because Dick has worked with Damien and knows that Damien's good. You're not born with supervillain in your blood. You become it, or you become a supervillain. The statement was very. I gotta give a couple of minus points to the writer, which is Tim Seeley, who didn't see that coming, because that's not something you would think Dick would be smarter than that, and I don't like that Tim Seeley really made Dick stupid there. It sucks. Sean may break up. I know. I think it's gonna happen because I think in August there were hints about Dick being at his lowest point.
Were you talking about this?
Yes, I was. You could show it on your book. That was something I don't see Dick ever really saying. That was kind of very out of character, and it took me a little bit out of the book. I gotta say, I was disappointed with that part of the book. If they didn't do that part of the book, or if they did that differently, this book would have been higher and better for me as far as a rating. But honestly, this book, that statement alone was like, dude, Dick's not that dumb. Tim, come on, Tim Seeley. You've written better than this, I'm sure. A few people made fun of Tim Seeley's writing. I thought he was doing a great job with Nightwing, but that statement that Dick made, that was dumb. That even if this was meant so that they break up, you could have come up with 100 different ways to do it. That way was dumb. Dick would never do something like that. Dick would never say anything like that. Oh, you're a supervillain. I don't want him to pick up bad habits from you. She's reformed, you idiot. That's so un-Dick-like. I'm sorry. And I know I've read a lot of Nightwing. I may not have the full past series like I'd love to have, but I know the character well enough to know that Dick, that's definitely very unlike his character. Just saying.
Okay, I reviewed some Frontline, and that is Green Arrow issue number 25.
Which has the thing I was talking about, where it says extra size anniversary issue.
And I don't know if it's just me or anything, but the artwork really, really changed. Like, this way. Like, it's getting to be a little bit sketchy. In a sort of good way. But it's basically, Oliver Queen is now... You know, he said who he was, and now he's in jail because they think that he murdered the woman. So Black Canary is, you know, with Mr. Finch is doing about the underground men from the Ninth Circle. Oliver Queen, he gets out of jail because of Red Archer and Amico, who helped her out. We finally get John Diggle with the Merlin Dark Archer, which we saw from Emerald Outlaw. Like, gee, it's about time, but he treats him in like a harsh way, or so to say. Henry V is snapping into like finding out, you know, about what's really going on about Star City and what it's really about, like that they're using him, so to say. And Green Arrow is back to being Green Arrow.
Oh, that took long.
Yeah, I was like saying, gee, couldn't they wait an issue or two until he...
We all saw that coming.
I mean, I don't know. And then it's just basically Oliver Queen saying he's going on a quest just to find out how he can save Seattle, known as Star City now. And they have a new queen in the Ninth Circle, and that is Queen Mora. Oh, Queen Mora. As the new queen of... what they call the Four Horsemen of Star City. I mean, the artwork alone, just that changed, but it's a good book. I just don't know why the artwork changed, because I really loved the artwork before.
Batman 25, same thing, anniversary issue, double size, and it's the beginning of the war of jokes and riddles, and it takes place in the past, like we thought, like we knew. Joker, you got Joker in Gotham, who's looking for the punchline. He's looking to really make a statement for Batman. You have Riddler, who escapes jail. I'm not going to say how, but you got Joker in Gotham trying to get Batman's attention and trying to really make an impact with Batman. You got Riddler, who's seeing what Joker's doing and where Joker's going, and he leaves jail to get Joker. And they do have a bit of a meeting in, I believe I forget what town. I don't know if it was Wayne Tower. They meet somewhere. And I love the art in this book, though. I will say that. And when finally they meet, I love oh, here we go. We get like, I would love to see this on a 2-page spread, because I feel like the artwork kind of would connect perfectly with, no, it wouldn't. But you get to see the first meeting of Joker and Riddler, and Riddler's like, I know what you're up to, and I know what you're trying to do, and he's like, I'm gonna, you know, oh, what was it? The only move, I can see all the moves, everyone. It's what I do, and this is the only move that gets us out of this hell. And he's like, oh, I forgot what it was. So he's like, basically, he says, oh, he wants to kill Batman with Joker. He's like, we have to team up. That's the only way we'll get out of hell, and the only way we'll get rid of Batman. And he's like, and Joker's like, or I could do this. And that's when Batman shows up, and we find out that Batman's the one telling the story. He's like the word bubbles, which we kind of knew from the beginning. And he's telling this to Catwoman. So this takes place obviously after the proposal, so we don't know what she said yet. All we know is they're in bed together. And this is Batman telling the story of the war and jokes to Catwoman. And he's like, you don't know this. I never let anyone know, not the boys, not Alfred, not even you. But now I've got to tell you the truth about what I had to do that nobody knew about during the War of Jokes and Riddles. So Batman's dark secret about what he had to do during the War of Riddles and Jokes, man, am I interested.
Yeah.
If I wasn't before, I am now.
Yeah, I almost forgot to mention one more thing about Green Arrow. It's a new story arc called Broken Arrow. Forgot to mention that. But it said so in the review in Comic Frontline.
So, Super Sons issue number 5 is the aftermath of what happened in the first arc. Robin's grounded, John is grounded. One thing I kind of feel was a little out of character, unless this is going to be his new personality, is John is very rebellious against his parents, but I like this way of him better than like, oh yes dad, yes whatever you say, yes mom, whatever you say. I like this whole like, you know, you're not letting me be who I am. You know, I have these superpowers now, and you're not letting me, you know, you're grounding me, you're forcing me to move to Metropolis, and you won't even let me be who I am. And he runs off as Superboy, and he goes to the Batcave where he wants to fight Damian because it's Damian's fault for all this happening. And I love how Batman and Superman were watching the entire time. And Alfred, well, before that, Alfred gives a little bit of a backstory about how Superman and Batman weren't always friends. At first, they were very against each other, and then they became like the bestest, like brothers. And Superman and Batman say, you know what? You guys can do what you want to do. You can be who you want to be, Superboy and Robin. But when it comes to John, he has to do it with Robin. So if Robin is not there, if Damian is not with him, Superboy can't. Basically, Superboy needs to have somebody with him. He can't go off and be Superboy alone. That's why we don't have a Superboy comic. And I don't think we ever will. I think by that time, Connor is going to come back because I get the feeling we're getting hints about it. But in the end, the move is going to happen. As Clark said, no matter what, it needs to happen. It's going to happen. It's the best move, and I agree with him. But at the same time, the meeting John halfway is we'll let you be Superboy as long as Robin, for now, is your partner. I like it. I really do like it. It's a way for John to get out there as Superboy and still, you know, mentor Damian a little bit and still, you know, be a superhero.
Yeah.
And Damian's going to teach him all the wonderful things that he knows. I love the first lesson is don't be sorry. Time for exactly, Brevin. Time for fun. He says never ask for permission. Ask for forgiveness later. I love that. That was a perfect starting point. So while Batman 25 was the beginning of an arc, Superman 25 was the ending of the Manchester Black arc, and it was good. You had Superman. We all called it. I want to throw it out there right now because I'm sure everybody was worried about Lois's leg. It was fake. Manchester Black showed John what he needed to break him. So what we saw on the screen, I'm sorry, I'm getting rid of God a little bit. What we saw on that screen, I sort of did, still a little bit of him, but what John saw on that screen was wrong, and now he's controlling John, and him and the elites are fighting, you know, against Superman, Batman, and the others. And I love how Superman gets struck with this lightning bolt from the multiverse, and we get to see Bizarro World. We get to see a different Jor-El and Lara, which was interesting. And we get to see Damian Batman again, which we haven't seen since that miniseries. Very, very interesting stuff. And in the end, though, John fights back against Manchester Black when he finds out that the mother is completely and utterly fine. And with the help of the girlfriend, or I'm calling her girlfriend, but with help from Cobb's granddaughter, they're able to take out Manchester Black and knock him out. So the aliens, basically the elite, are staying in Hamilton as their home. Superman is moving, and now that John's not drinking that stuff to keep his powers down, John finally learns how to fly. So that's a huge book. This book, look at these 2 pages. This is Superman. This is what we've been missing for 5 long freaking years. We've been missing the Lois and Clark. We've been missing the heartwarming moments.
Dan Jurgens wrote this?
Dan Jurgens did not write this. This is Peter J. Tomasi. Dan Jurgens is on Action.
Oh, maybe that's...
And we find out also that Manchester Black is still out there somewhere. So he is in the rafters. So he'll be back. We just don't know when. But man, oh man, this is the way Superman should have been for years. This would have been my #1 pick of the week. Honestly, this would have been #1. The ending was perfect. Lois never lost her leg, which I'm glad, because that would have been a horrible thing to explain out. And just the Lois and Clark moment, the John learning how to fly moment. It was great. And now the next thing in Superman is him and John going away for a bit, while in action, when the Revenge Squad is over, we're going to see them moving to Metropolis.
Yep.
Which I am kind of looking forward to the end of Revenge Squad. I feel like it's being
stretched out
a little bit. So now that's the end of this review, guys. I want to throw out a few things before we go, as we are getting very, very, very close to 400, and we're kind of in the 399th episode week. As a matter of fact, once this review is over, we're going to start reading the books that came out yesterday. Unless you've already started, and I haven't started yet.
They didn't come out yet.
It came out yesterday.
They didn't?
Mm-hmm. Wednesday. Always do.
Oh.
But anyway, next weekend, or next Monday, which is only 6 days away. No, less than 6 days away. This is going up. This will be up on Thursday morning. You guys who are watching with us that are crazy and up late at night. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. In 4 days, we'll be doing episode 399. We're going to try to get it back to Monday. We really want to get it back to Monday. As you guys know, no Dark Avenger Live or Frontline Live for the next 2 weeks. This week and next week. Next week is the 4th of July week, so there won't be a Frontline Live next week. No Dark Avenger Live this Friday or the following Friday, since it's the 4th of July week. The following week is 400. And we're doing 400 on that Monday. So not this coming Monday, but the following Monday is going to be 400. But we're going to be celebrating on that weekend. So this is why I mentioned before, if you're not subscribed to Dark Avenger C86, not only is the announcement connected to Dark Avenger C86, but at the same time, there will be videos that go up from that weekend on Dark Avenger C86. So if you're not subscribed to Dark Avenger C86, my channel, please definitely take the time out. Go to the main channel, Comic Frontline. Go over to Dark Avenger C86. Click that sub button. And you might want to start clicking that notification bell as well, because it's connected, like I said, to the announcement that will be going up that weekend, the weekend before the 400th episode. I will be posting the announcement video on this channel. So there will be a Dark Avenger comic book review announcement video on this channel. And then on my channel, probably that Monday will be the Dark Avenger podcast post episode 400. No, it'll be Tuesday then. So it'll be on Tuesday, the Dark Avenger podcast. And then 400 should be going up that Wednesday. And then after that, we're going to move forward from what the announcement, what my announcements will be from that point on. If you're watching this on my channel, it's Wednesday. So 399 already happened on Monday. And this coming weekend is going to be the celebration weekend. So if you're watching this on Dark Avenger C86 right now, next week, this coming up weekend for you guys is the 400 celebration weekend, and Monday is the 400th comic review. So be ready. You guys are closer who are watching it on my channel. Most of you are watching this on Frontline right now. Most of you have watched it either live or post live. So again, if you are enjoying these reviews, if you're enjoying what we do, definitely keep an eye out on my channel as well, because I've actually kind of kept my channel on low key because I really wanted to focus on 400. I really wanted 400 to be my next focal point. And that's why I haven't done a lot on my channel. But after 400, that's when I can start putting my focus in different places. And this is why I always tell you guys, if you want to know what's going on in my head, the Dark Avenger podcast. I like to keep myself open. I can keep my thought process and what I'm doing and how I'm doing it open, so all of you know what I'm thinking. I don't want to throw out spoilers for 400, so I'm not going to throw out spoilers, but there will be a pre-400 podcast where I'll talk about just stuff in general, and then there'll be a post one. But I like to keep myself open. I like to keep you guys in the loop of what's in my mind. And I love to hear from you guys, and I love to hear your feedback. So that's why I do the podcast as well. Nobody really gives me that much feedback on the podcast, but you guys are welcome to at any time. So that was this episode. We have, like I said, next week is 399. It's 4 days away, and then we're going to be focusing on 400. It's been an awesome ride so far. I'm really looking forward to hitting that 400. 400. We've done this 400 weeks in a row.
300.
100 for you, almost. That's right. Well, you were the cameraman for the first 100, so technically you were still around.
Yeah, but I meant reviewing wise.
Yes. So we got a lot of things coming up. So definitely keep an eye out. There's so much going on. And like I said, we're not doing any live. We weren't even supposed to do this live, but we decided to do it because it was so late. and there were no live shows on Frontline tonight. So just keep an eye out. Like I said, the announcement will be in 2 weekends. 400 will be in 2 Mondays, and we're going to really fight hard to read all of our books this week and get you guys $3.99 next Monday. One thing I will say is, if you enjoyed the way we're doing the review now, that's a good thing, because we're going to be probably doing stuff like this more in the future. So like I said, keep an eye out. We got a lot of stuff coming your guys' way very, very soon. Keep an eye out over here on Frontline. We got lots of stuff. What's the name of your channel? I'll do it for you right here. There you go. You just youtube.com/ and you put that in, and you'll find mine. For those of you that don't know, my channel is Dark Avenger C86. But most of you guys who are subscribed to Frontline already know my channel. Most of you are subscribed. For those of you that aren't, please subscribe to Dark Avenger C86. There's a lot of stuff. Not a lot. See, I don't want to overwhelm myself either, but there is stuff that will be going on Dark Avenger C86 soon. So please do subscribe to that channel. This way you're in the loop of what we're doing. But there's a lot of stuff coming up on Frontline. You know, SDCC, San Diego Comic-Con, right around the corner. Mike and I covered E3. If you missed out on E3 and you want to recap, we recapped all the conferences. Go check that out. I'm sure we're going to do some of that for San Diego for sure. I would love to see what DC and Marvel are going to have in their conferences this year. So we'll try to do what we can there. We'll see if we get any news. Maybe we'll discuss the news. We'll have some topic videos for Frontline. We got a lot of stuff we're planning for Frontline too. And then as far as the gaming side, Frontline Gaming Zone, right now we've got our friend Rob, aka Firestorm, doing Assassin's Creed. We got a bunch of stuff. We got a bunch of games that we just got that we really would love to. We're going to play for fun. We're not going to do walkthroughs, but we might stream a little bit of it. I got to teach Michael how to stream as well.
You can mention what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah, Mike has Crash Bandicoot. That's coming out tomorrow.
And I will be doing it tomorrow, so keep eyes out for that.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so that's it, guys. We will see you guys live next Monday, not Tuesday and not Friday. There'll be 2 more Dark Avenger live shows that are not happening, and Frontline Live next Tuesday won't be happening either because of the 4th of July week. As far as regular videos for myself, they'll probably follow the week after the 4th of July because it's been a busy week this week, and next week's going to be a busy week also. I'll try to throw something up here or there for sure. I actually am working on one thing that might get thrown up on Frontline this weekend or maybe earlier. Who knows? But yeah, I'm spending way too much post-review time. So thank you guys so much. Like I said, keep an eye out on Dark Avenger C86. Keep an eye out on Comic Frontline. We are your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. If you like what you saw here and you're new, which I'm believing Brevin Campbell 12 is, thank you for showing up, everybody, live, by the way, Tevye, Brevin. Before the other show that didn't happen, that we had to end, that ended up getting corrupted, we had Shamar, we had Rob Wise Guy. Thank you guys for showing up for that show as well. Sorry that the audio screwed up and the whole show died slowly. But thank all of you for showing up live. But if you're new to Frontline, click that sub button. This way we're in your sub box. And this way we're in your sub box, and you don't miss out on a single video. We have tons of live shows on this channel, 3 every week. Most of the time, unless it's a holiday, we got Frontline Live, Media Madness, and Dark Avenger Live. These are the 3 main shows that happen each and every week, unless it's a holiday week. So they'll be happening starting the middle of July again on time. So definitely click that notification bell so you'll know when we go live, or you'll know when we post up a new video, because apparently YouTube has to have a sub button and a notification bell now. And yeah, till next time, everybody, take care. Keep reading, keep collecting, and I will see you guys really soon. I always forget you're here. Yeah. We'll see you guys really soon in the next video. Have a great night. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys on Monday for the next episode.
Hey, everybody.
Bye, guys.